Hi everyone, blessed be. I thought I would show you me restocking my selection of herbs and other items. And I've got these smaller jars because I wanted all my jars to match. And also these fit on the bottom shelf of my bureau. And these ones, I bought the herbs from the shop. It's some chamomile and some catnip. And what I'm doing is I'm taking off the store labels that I just added to the jars because I've actually made my own. And to make my own labels, what I've done is I've drawn my labels in Procreate. Then I've printed them off on my printer onto some sticker paper. I haven't got the best printer, but just for text and stuff like this, it's perfectly fine. So I've printed them off, and what I'm doing now is getting all my jars out because I want all my jars the same size so they all fit in the bottom shelf of my bureau. So here I'm just getting my jars out from the drawer underneath. And these are from Hobbycraft. There's just like a whole pack of them, and they're all the same size. And I use these to store herbs and random other things that I use in my practice. So what I decided to do first of all is decide which herbs I was going to put in new jars and which ones I was going to keep in the same jars, because I've got a couple that are already in the jars the same size. I think this was a pack of 8 jars if I remember right. Maybe, no, hold on, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it was a pack of 12, I think. So I've already used some. So all I had to do was peel off the cover off the backing of the paper, and then apply that to the jar. I did originally just use the labels that came on the herbs from the shop. And I stuck them on with double-sided tape, but they were starting to lift off, so I thought I'll just redo the labels. And then I thought, might as well get them all to match. Now, first of all, I did stick the labels on the top of the jar, because I thought if I'm going to put it in the big drawer at the bottom, I'd need to see the label at the top. But then I realised where I was going to actually store the jar, so you'll see me change my mind and move that, but never mind. So I decided to put the labels on the side of the jars, as from where I'm sitting and where the bottom shelf is on the bureau right in front of me, I can see the jars side, like, face on. So I just put them on the side of the jars. It's a lot clearer. It just makes it so it's nice and fast and quick to identify which jar has got which product in. Now, you could just use the jars as they come. Like, the taller ones are from a supermarket, so they've already got like a label on the lid, and they did have a label on the side. You could just keep them in the jars they came in. But I like to make my own little labels and make the jars look nice. These jars have all been cleaned and cleansed before using them. At least there's one thing with these labels, is once they're on, they don't want to come off. So at least they'll stay in place. It just makes it a bit awkward if you stick them in the wrong place, but never mind. So as you can see, they're starting to look a bit more organised, and they all look nice and neat in their jars. The herbs that I've got and other items are charcoal, bay leaves, sage, eggshell, chamomile, catnip, rosemary, rose petals, bay leaves. What else is there? I've got I have got a jar for black salt, but I need to make some more, and a jar for sea salt. What else? Star anise is another one I have. I've got a label for beach sambar. I need to get some more jars. I just put in, first of all, the main herbs and things that I use. So what I will do is I'll do another video when I've got like the full collection all sorted. This one is cinnamon. Cinnamon's a good one to blow through your front door on the beginning of the month, just to bring prosperity and abundance to the house. And bay leaves are good for bay leaf wishes, and like rosemary, eggshell, charcoal, that sort of thing are good for protection. You can use catnip. Not catnip, you can use peppermint as well. The easiest way to get hold of peppermint is just to get some peppermint tea bags that are 100% peppermint, and you can just take the peppermint out of the bags or use the peppermint in its little tea bags for, you know, herbal teas. Peppermint's very good for if you've got a lot of trapped wind and an upset stomach. But obviously just make sure you use the peppermint, you know, that's in peppermint tea. You want to make sure as well, before you ingest any herbs or anything, that you are aware that some herbs and plants and things are toxic, so you need to make sure you know what you're doing. I stick with stuff that is food grade from the kitchen spice rack in the supermarket, like the spice aisle in the supermarket, so that I know what I'm buying and what I'm using, with the exception of lavender, which is from my garden. With lavender, you can make lavender tea. You do have to be careful with lavender that you don't have too much though. So that's not one I tend to ingest anyway. I tend to use that more for incense or for candles or little sachets and things. I don't tend to actually like use lavender to drink. And the rose petals here I've had in a jar for a long time, so I wouldn't use those either in anything that I was going to eat or drink. But do your research on herbs and things and make sure that what you're using is safe. There are plenty of plants out there that are toxic, that you don't want to come into contact with and don't want to mess with. So I would recommend, if you want to look at using herbs and things, is use stuff that is food grade that you would find in the supermarket, in the herb aisle, and use those things to keep yourself safe, and do your research. I wouldn't recommend foraging because there's a lot of plants that look a lot like each other. I know there's one, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. It's in the UK and it's got like a tall stem with like a circle of little branches coming off with white flowers on, and I know one of them is the safe one, and then another one is quite toxic. There are plants in the UK as well that are phototoxic, so if you get the sap onto your skin and then your skin comes into contact with sunlight, you will get blisters and burns. So yeah, it's worth doing your research. So I personally stick with food safe items because you want to keep yourself safe. So yeah, that's me preparing my herb collection. Hope you enjoyed this video. Blessed be. Bye for now.